This week's video is all about the importance of attitude and getting the right frame of mind and the right self-speak. That internal dialogue that goes on in your head when you're trying to achieve what you want to achieve in your life. I've had an experience of this quite profoundly this week. At the beginning of the week, I was grumpy as hell. I have had a really busy time lately, and so I didn't have much headspace to actually think about exactly what was going on, and I haven't been feeling brilliant. I've been going through the menopause and been affected quite badly by that. My sleep's been quite badly affected, and it's just made me grumpier and grumpier. Hope none of my clients noticed too much. And I was in a feeling really sorry for myself state at the beginning of the week. And then I started a challenge called the Gratitude Challenge, which is being run by Georgia Welby, who I belong to one of her groups called Unlock Your True Power, and she's also the lady who trained me in NLP. And this Gratitude Challenge, basically all we've had to do is every day we are posting 5 photographs of something that we're grateful for. And this has been, I've only been doing it 2 days, but it's really brought home to me how at the beginning of the week, the more I was focused on the poor me and the things that were difficult, the more I did focus on those things, and the harder and harder it seemed to be to know where to go from there. And just in 2 days, I have found that by making myself look throughout the day for the things I'm grateful for, I'm doing it more and more and more. Whereas at the beginning, the first day, I was like, 5 things to be grateful for with what's going on in my life at the moment. Sheesh. But now I can't, I'm struggling just in 2 days to tune it down to just the 5 things. I've got lots and lots of things that I could post about and take photos of. And I've found that the more I'm looking for the things I'm grateful for, the more I'm focusing in on those, and the more I'm seeing them, and the less I'm dwelling on the things that maybe aren't so great at the moment. And actually, the things that aren't so great at the moment, what it's made me do by stopping focusing on the poor me mindset is, in fact, I've done the complete opposite, and it's given me a little bit of distance and perspective, to the point where I was so miserable and down and not knowing where to go with the symptoms I've been getting. In just a week, I have, with another Cambridge Weight Plan consultant, we've set up a menopause support group, an online menopause support group via Facebook for Cambridge consultants and Cambridge Weight Plan clients, which is much needed and lovely to see flourishing. Lots and lots of support going on there for one another. So anyone who's interested, any of my clients, let me know. Even if you're not one of my clients, do get in touch. And if you're a Cambridge Weight Plan client or consultant, I'm very happy to add you. So there's that. And the other thing I found that's happened is I have, instead of feeling like a victim of my situation, I've completely turned my whole attitude around to one of, okay, what can I do about this? This is my situation that I've got to deal with in life, and this is just my current one of many that I've been perfectly capable of managing. What am I going to do about this now, so that I take full responsibility for doing whatever I can? And so I've done lots of research this week, and I've bought lots of books. I love my books, and I've bought lots of books on different approaches to dealing with menopause and different nutritional aspects. And the more I've read, the more I found out, to the point where I've even found out that there's a specialist menopause clinic up in London. And I thought, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, let's see if I can get an appointment and get myself booked in. Now, that's coming up in a few weeks' time, and it'll be fascinating to see what comes of that. But the point is that I've gone from being this victim of my circumstances to doing whatever I can to take control and take charge, just from a mindset or attitude switch. So as usual, I'm eternally grateful to Georgia Warby for helping me with that whole process. And it just got me thinking that actually this is exactly like when you're trying to lose weight. The more you focus in on what you can't do, the more the things you can't eat, and the socializing that you perceive that you can't do, and the foods that you really want but you feel that you can't, and the lifestyle choices that you feel you can't make, the more you focus in on those, the more miserable and grumpy you get, and the harder and harder it is to continue. Whereas the more you focus in on all that you can do, all that the things that you are choosing to do to basically turn your own life around, the more responsibility you take for doing that. And rather than blaming circumstances or making excuses for different things, the more you go, okay, this is what's happened, this is difficult, what am I going to do to make it easier? Taking full responsibility for moving yourself forwards. The more I did that in my weight loss when I lost my 7.5 stone, the easier and easier it got, because I was focused in and tuned in to problem solving and learning, and having that positive attitude of, this is going to be of such great benefit to me if I take these steps, rather than the poor me approach. This actually was brought home to me today, this whole importance of attitude yet again, when I was chatting to my daughter about doing this YouTube video, and the theme that this is going to now take in my newsletter this week. And she was telling me that she was very happy for me to share her story with you all. And it's exactly the same sort of process has been going on for her. She has had for quite a few years now a problem with depression and anxiety, to the point where it's affected her ability to do an awful lot in her life. And this time last year we were very, very keen in her second year of uni for her to try and get a job. She'd settled at uni. We were delighted that she'd even gone to uni, because there was a time when we thought she would be too anxious and too low to be able to do it, but she did, and we're so proud of her for that. Last year she was, she'd been there a year and a half, and it was time that we felt to start moving on and getting a job, and she'd never had a job before. And so I was talking to Ellie about it, because she's now out from uni, she's finished her third year, and pride doesn't come into it. We're just so amazed by our awesome daughter that she is now working. She's taking a year out and then aiming to go on and do a master's degree. But she knows that she needs to fund that, and she needs to work in order to get the money up for that. And hats off to her. She has thrown herself into the whole process of finding a job, and she's now very happy working in a local shop, and it's just a joy to see her do it. And so I was chatting to her today about what's made that change from feeling that she couldn't do it a year ago, and she really couldn't a year ago. The thought of it made her extremely anxious, to now doing it. And all that she told me was very similar to what I've just said, and that is that what she said to me was that she said to herself, enough is enough. I don't want to live like this. I want to be independent. I want to earn money. I want to have that resource for myself. And if I continue in this space where I don't embrace it, if I carry on in that mindset of I can't do it, then, well, I don't want to. I want to move forwards with this. And so she actively decided to just do it. And she kept saying to herself, you've just got to do it. Just do it. You can do it. Just do it. And she told herself all the things that she had been able to do in the past that she had previously thought she couldn't, and she did. So she was very much building up her own sense of self-esteem and self-belief that she could do it. She also said that she was in a better place this year, that last year she was very much worrying about the dissertation, and she also knew that she didn't really need the money through a job, because she had her student loan, and she had us, not that we're about to abandon her now, but she had a degree of independence through her student loan that we weren't providing. And so the importance, value, if you like, of actually dealing with it there and then last year wasn't very high on her list of priorities, whereas now it is. And I think it's exactly the same with anything. If you've got the weighing scales of priority, if it's more important to you to lose the weight for whatever reason, then you will. And if you've got other things weighing down that importance for doing other things, whatever that be, socializing or holidays or whatever, then they will take priority. And I think when you're trying to lose weight, you're always balancing those weighing scales, and to make it easier for yourself, have that attitude of what do I need to do to make this something I really, really want? Because all the while you start thinking about what you're missing out on, guess what happens? Clunk, other things become a priority, and you're getting something out of those things that you prioritise, because that's not important enough to you, and you want to get that right. So the other thing Ellie mentioned was that she looked at the whole project of getting a job in bite-sized chunks so that she didn't feel too overwhelmed. And that's definitely how I viewed my 7.5 stone. I just literally saw it as moment by moment by moment. If I focused in on that I had 7.5 stone to lose, that would be utterly overwhelming. So my whole attitude was, I'll do what I can in this moment right now. What do I need to do right now? And I just kept focusing in on one foot in front of the other and getting through, not even getting through, but just enjoying each moment and all that I was getting out of taking control of my eating and seeing the weight slowly slip off. Quickly slip off. 7.5 stone in 7 months is pretty quick, really, isn't it? So it's about putting it all into perspective, what it is you're trying to achieve, and getting that right mindset and attitude of making this something that you're really grateful to do. I'm so grateful that I could lose my weight and that I found Cambridge. And I'm so grateful now for the fact that I've managed to change my mindset about what I'm going through with the menopause. And watch this space, basically. Hoping for suitable treatment and a new me soon. And exactly the same sort of thinking can be applied to make your weight loss a lot easier.